Hello, my name is Barbara Denning and I'm a member of the Independent Schools Consultancy team, and the theme for this month's Did You Know is the Address Tidy and Merge routines. These routines help you manage your addresses in SIMS and avoid perhaps having duplicates or inaccurate addresses. Before we start, a couple of things to bear in mind is that firstly it can take a lot of the power of the database to run the routines, so it's a good idea to run it when the school's perhaps quiet in the holidays or at the end of a day. Also, both routines will give you a report indicating what it will do if you choose to run them. So it's very important you look at those reports and study them carefully, because if you do carry out the routines, the results are irreversible. So therefore you also need a backup before you start. So let's have a look at the routines. The routines we'll look at today are fully documented in the Setting Up and Administering SIMS handbook, which is available through the Documentation Centre on your home page. It's good practice to occasionally run these routines, and users who are school administrators have permission to do so. The menu route is through the Tools, Housekeeping, Bulk Address Tools, and we'll start by having a look at the Unmatchable Address Report. So this will find addresses that are perhaps too incomplete to represent a unique residence or has incorrect data in fields, for example, postcode in a town field. I've run the report previously and I'm just going to show you the output. So this is the type of output that you may well find. You'll see that it appears in Internet Explorer. If I just very quickly show you one of the ones it's identified, and it's this one, which is for Mrs. Sandra May, whose address is 17 Keepers Well in Hampshire. If I just find that address, then it may look fine. But actually, if I go into the address by modifying it and seeing how it's put together, you'll see that the town city actually contains the street information. So that report you would want to study and perhaps go in and make any corrections manually. The second report that we'll have a look at, again, is through the Tools, Housekeeping, Bulk Address Tools. And this time we're going to have a look at Tidy and Merge. Now, this is a two-step process, and the first report that you would run would be the Tidy report. The Tidy report, which I've run previously and I've copied it into Excel, makes searching for an address much easier and reduces the risk of the same address being added twice. So it looks for things such as incorrectly entered data into the town field, or taking telephone numbers out of fields where obviously phone numbers shouldn't be, or perhaps capitalisation of the town. So I've got an example here. Mrs. Mina Ahmed, this line shows her address before it's tidied, where we have a flat name in the house name. We have a house number with a comma after it. So the tidying routine has moved the flat name into the apartment field and has removed the comma from the house number. And you can also see that it's capitalised the town. Having run the tidy report and having studied very carefully the effects of allowing it to do the tidying, you may then want to go and run the merge report. So again, I've run that previously, so we can have a look at that. And I've highlighted a couple that indicate the type of functionality that this particular routine carries out. So what it's looking for are addresses which have perhaps been entered multiple times, and these can creep into the data in lots of different ways, perhaps because they've been double entered. Perhaps they've come from a data conversion, or they've been imported from an incorrectly formatted CTF file. I've highlighted one in yellow at the top here, where we have two originals, so as they are in the data at the moment, and looking over at this side we can see who those addresses are attached to. So it also says what that person's role is in the database. So here we have a contact who is Mr. Andy Smith for Sophia Phillips, and then we have Sophia's address as a student. If we allow the merge to go ahead, it will take those two addresses, give one merged address as the output, and move both Mr. Smith and Sophia to that same address. You can see how that in Mr. Smith's address we had the abbreviation for Cambridgeshire, but it's picked up in the merged version the full name of Cambridgeshire. And I've just highlighted another one in blue down here, where again we have two originals, and in fact those were identical, and the merged one, it's just simply copied that address down, but most importantly it's moved Mrs. Anna Burton, who is the next of kin for Fiona Burton, and Fiona Burton herself, to that one instance of the address. It's very important that you look very carefully at these reports before you allow the system to actually carry out the merge or the tidy, because once done they are irreversible. You may want to manually edit some of the addresses before allowing the routine to run, or you may allow it to run and then edit addresses afterwards. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you found it useful. You will find a lot more information on the website and also in the documentation, which is available through the software.